Good evening, guys, and happy Tuesday. Tuesday to all of your sunshiny faces. Darn it, guys, I was right the first time. It is Tuesday, because I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, I have to finish my Meijer list so we can go to Meijer tomorrow. We're not going to Meijer tomorrow because my dad has something going on for the school for football. They're doing like, I think like an open house for like middle schoolers or something like that, and so he will be gone tomorrow. So like pretty much the entire evening, so we're not going to be able to go to Meijer tomorrow. But something fun me and my mom ended up doing today, guys. We ended up going out to a couple thrift stores today, and I actually put what I got in the laundry already, so I'm not able to show you guys that right now. But what I did wind up actually finding, so we got up, here's the whole story, guys. I woke up originally this morning and I hear like this noise. It's like, and I'm like, what on earth is that? And it sounds like it's coming from right outside my window. And I'm like, it probably, at least I noticed it around like 8, maybe 9 o'clock. I don't entirely know. But I'm thinking that like it's our neighbor next door. Like on occasion when our neighbors have been like home from work early, like sometimes they'll wind up doing things outside or whatever, and sometimes I'll hear them like working in the garage or like on projects and stuff like that. But that's only ever if like it's still never really been before like 10 o'clock. Like that is like very, very rare. Because like a lot of times like if I end up sleeping in like until again later, like 11 o'clock almost, sometimes it will wake me up in the morning, but by 11 o'clock it's really not even hardly morning anymore. So like I said, like sometimes I will wind up hearing that kind of stuff, but I'm wondering like, they're really home at 8 o'clock, and I was like, and what on earth are they doing outside? Well, it's like cold out. It actually wasn't that cold outside today, surprisingly, but you know, it's kind of cold out, and I'm like, what on earth could they be doing out there? Then I came to the realization that I was like still dazed and kind of out of it. I was like, maybe it's just like the water from like the like it didn't sound really weird, really loud, but like then at a different point I ended up hearing like what sounded like a saw. So I was like, oh, like they must be doing something outside. Then finally, I don't know why that noise, I kind of was just like, maybe I was just hearing things. Maybe it's actually just like water from like the gutters dripping and like hitting my window, because it sounded like it was like vibrating my windows. So I was like, okay, like no, that's what it is, and kind of like again stayed asleep-ish until like 9:30, I think, something like that. Finally I get up and I was like, okay, I gotta wake my mom up. I was like, because we're supposed to be going, and originally she told me to get up early, but I think she went to bed later than I did last night. So I was like, because our plan was to go earlier in the morning, and so I was like, I gotta go make sure she's awake. So I go quick run into her room, and I was like, oh, like she was putting her makeup on already. So I was like, oh good, you're awake. And then I walk out in the living room and I was like, what on earth is that noise out there? And I'm like going to go and take the dogs out, and like I take them out and I realized there's like people all over. Our neighbors were having their roof redone, except it wasn't the neighbors on this side of us, it's on the neighbors on that side. But for some reason it sounded like it was coming from like the neighbors on this side, and I was like, what? So yeah, like I said, I don't know, they were having their roof redone now, which like I guess you can do it, but I've heard that like especially in the summertime you're not supposed to, because of like the tar, I guess, like and like, you know, on the roof, you're not really supposed to have it done in like extreme like conditions where it's like really cold or like really hot too, because something like, I don't know, like again, I'm not a roofer, but I've heard this that again, you're not supposed to have it done then. The like you know, the tar or whatever, the sticky stuff they use to the roofing shingles, you know, whatever, to the roof, is, like I said, I think you're not supposed to do, especially when it's really hot out, because then like they don't stick properly. But I also thought that you weren't supposed to have really cold weather either. But you know, like I said, that's normally like a spring or kind of fall project. But I don't know, they might have ended up having a leak and just ended up getting it taken care of now, which is, you know, like again, if you have to, you have to. So but I was totally thrown off as like where this was coming from. So we had a little ordeal though with the dogs, because we were like, well, we don't want to take them out in the backyard because we didn't want them to you know, like just be barking and then they would just bark the entire time and not even go to the bathroom. So we were like, let's take them out in the front yard. Took them out in the front yard on the leash. They could have cared less. Like, the people are like walking around, like the dog saw them. They could have cared less. It's just like when they're in their space, like in their house, in their backyard, is when they're like, I have to protect my space, my people. But as soon as we walked in the front yard with them, they were all like, you know, friendly to like, you know, all the people next door. But and it's not that they're not friendly, it's just like, again, too, they're on the outside and they're, you know, like the mailman, they're gonna bark at them. So it was like the same situation. But again, we take them in the front yard on the leash so that they could do their business there, instead of, you know, having them in the backyard. And again, they were totally fine. Not one of them barked out of the 3 of them that we took out in the front yard. So but that was just a little challenging, trying to wrangle them all up and everything like that, and taking them all out at different times and stuff. Well, Matthew took Bliss out, and then me and Matthew both took the puppies out both at the same time. So anyways, we ended up getting that handled. Then me and my mom leave. We ended up going to this one thrift store, and we ended up finding a couple things. My mom found something for her letterboard. She also found this really cute kind of like smaller teapot, but I guess it's a Paul Revere like teapot, which I guess are kind of like expensive. My mom actually found it for a really good deal. And then she also ended up finding some like sweatpants, and I ended up finding because literally just yesterday I ended up getting a huge hole in my pajama pants. I ended up finding a pair of like the pink or Victoria's Secret like pajama set, like Christmas set, and it was like stinking brand new, guys. Like, nobody had worn it. It was only $7. I was like, this is awesome. So I ended up getting that along with like a sort of like a pink flannel. So those were, and I don't know how much that ended up being, but they were really good deals that we ended up getting in total for all this stuff. Like, I think we paid $16 or $17 like with tax and everything too for all 4 or 5 of those items, whatever we ended up getting. So like I said, I thought that was super, super awesome. And then we ended up, after that, going to, a little coffee shop, which is like a locally owned, like, was in the area where we were going to the thrift shop, like small business kind of, like coffee shop. Oh my gosh, guys, their mocha was so amazing. Like, 50 times better than Starbucks. And like, I love Starbucks white chocolate mocha, but oh my gosh, guys, this tasted almost like hot chocolate. Like, it was just so smooth. There was no bitter taste to it, like anything like that. It was like the most crazy, amazing cup of coffee that I've ever had. Which is like, you know, and I was like super scared too, because I was like, normally I really am not a fan of mocha, but this was honestly the most amazing thing ever. So, and it wasn't even, it was like Starbucks prices, so it was, again, a little bit more money than like regular coffee, but it wasn't like, oh, it was like $12 for a cup of coffee. Like, it was still reasonable. And like I said, I just thought it was stinking phenomenal. My mom got a lemon bar from there too, so I don't know how much she loved it, because she didn't actually end up having it till she got home. But like I said, because I needed coffee, and originally we were going to go out to a coffee shop, but then by the time we went there, we decided we were going to go shopping first, and then the coffee shop was closing, like, I think in a little bit, so we weren't going to like sit down and have coffee, so we just ended up getting it to go. So like I said, I'm not sure how her lemon bar turned out, but my coffee was amazing. Then we ended up having to make a quick stop to Walmart, and then after that we ended up coming home, or no, we didn't go home. Then we ended up going to a second thrift store, and I'm not entirely sure. My mom got like a little like decorative plate there, and I want to say she got 1 or 2 other things too. I can't remember off the top of my head, but she only ended up spending like an extra, like, I think it was, you know, $15 or something like that there. So we actually got a good amount of stuff at the thrift store for only $30, and our coffee too was only, I think, like, between the coffee and the lemon bar was like $7 or something like that. So we ended up doing the whole day for definitely under $50, under $40. So like I said, I thought it was actually pretty good for, again, what we were able to find. But it was funny because literally just last night I ended up finding a huge hole in my pajama pants, and so I was like, okay, these are gonna have to be retired. So I was like, I'm down 1 pair of pajama pants now, and my other pair too, I think, are starting to get a little hole, and I was like, I probably need to replace them. So like I said, thrift store for practically what looks like brand new. It definitely way cheaper than the, you know, the actual price of what my set would have probably cost. And it's like a plaid flannel set, so like I can wear that next year for Christmas too. And like I said, it was like kind of like red, I don't know if it was like red and white and green or red and like white, so it was like definitely like Christmas themed kind of, but not so like, you know, like it had like Santa Clauses all over it, and I was like, like I'm not gonna really wear this if it's not like, you know, Christmas time. It was like I can still wear it in the winter time too. So anyways, though, that was what we ended up doing for today. Then actually, because again, we left early in the morning, we ended up getting home around like 1-ish, 2-ish maybe, something like that. Then we ended up going and my parents actually went out for dinner, so I just kind of like helped Jack get soup heated up for himself because he wasn't feeling that great today. And then I helped Matthew, I just warmed him up leftover spaghetti from the other day, and I ended up making myself a frozen burrito. And then I ended up trying to think what else we ended up doing. I ended up editing 2 vlogs. I ended up doing dishes and laundry today too. And I also uploaded as well. And then in the afternoon, because I had time and there was no sports games on, and so I was like, and my parents too, they ended up going out to get something to eat. I think they were going to go out for a movie and to eat, but it was kind of later, so they just decided to go out and get something to eat and came back and watched a TV show together. And so I was just like, what am I going to watch in my room? I realized the other day I actually ended up recording a movie. I realized I had seen the entire movie, but only in pieces, of Crazy Rich Asians. And I have, like I said, I never saw that movie like in its entirety, but when I watched it today, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that I actually have seen the entire thing just in pieces. So like just the other night too, I realized I had actually seen the beginning part of it. And so that was like several nights before that. And then when I was like, oh yeah, like if that's on again, I want to record it so I can actually watch it, because it was like when I was falling asleep, so I was like, I'm not going to stay up to watch it. So I recorded it, and like I said, today it just worked out perfectly. I could watch it, but I didn't realize that I actually seen the entire thing, just never all together and never all at the same time too. Like I caught like pieces here and there, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize that everything just went together like the way it did that I watched it. So that was, like I said, kind of interesting, but it was a really, really good movie. It's kind of weird though, a lot of those, because I do know, I think it was like at least nominated for some awards, and maybe it won like something, but a lot of those ones that are like, you know, wind up again being kind of more popular with like especially award winning movies and things like that, I have seen hardly any of those in the last handful of years. Like I've never seen La La Land, I've never seen like again a handful of other ones, like The Greatest Showman even too. I think I want to honestly say those maybe came out very close together, like those ones just at the top of my head. But like a lot of those ones that are like really popular ones that everybody seems to talk about a lot, I haven't seen those, and so I'm really trying to like, you know, watch more of those like nominated kind of movies and things like that. So that was one of them that I can officially check off my list, is being able to have watched it all the way through. So again, I didn't have much else to do this evening, you know, to get to anything really, so that's what I just ended up doing, and I ate my dinner. But like I was saying, you know, I got to everything else today that I wanted to, and again too, knowing that I didn't have a ton of time, because like, you know, in the morning and everything like that into kind of the afternoon, me and my mom were gone. You know, again, I was still able to get in all my stuff that I wanted to for today. Like I got 2 loads of laundry done, and again a bunch of my editing done too, and again ended up getting to watch a movie tonight, which was nice. So I had my popcorn too, and like, you know, actually like did the whole movie thing tonight. But I'm gonna take a shower now and get to bed. I will see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.